setup, okay? The whole thing was staged. Just talk to the other guys. Have you talked to the others
We're
yet?
doing our jobs.
Vincent is a wealthy architect. He is interrogated by the police. Vincent continues to convince the police that everything is a trap that has been arranged. Vincent also began to tell the events of this morning. Luke, who is Vincent's friend, came to a place like the attic he had gone to buy groceries until there. Luke was shocked because Luke saw a woman killed on a bloodied mattress with her hands handcuffed. Luke cried seeing this. Vincent explained to the police that this morning he was alone at home and his wife took the children skiing. Vincent woke up at 9 o'clock because of a call from Luke. Luke sounded panicked. Vincent went to the attic and Luke was panicked. Because there was a woman's body, Vincent also panicked and asked Luke what happened. And did you know the woman? Luke said that he didn't know. When he just came, he saw the woman's body already there and he didn't recognize her. Vincent was confused about how the killer got in here. Luke said when he had just come here, the windows and doors were locked and the alarm was also off, a sign that if the alarm was off, someone had entered using the key, because not using the key, the alarm would sound. Luke was interrogated. Luke explained that Vincent ran a very large company. He built many buildings here, very strange. Luke admitted to the police that he had never been in the attic. Very strange because the police said, according to their information, Luke and his 4 friends shared the attic in secret without the knowledge of their wives. Luke even laughed. He said that the information did not make sense. Luke explained that he was not a person like that playing with women because he loved his own wife. Luke had a slight cut on his face. Police asked what happened to Luke's face. Luke admitted that this was due to hitting the door. Police asked where Luke was this morning. Luke explained that this morning he and his friend Chris were eating at a restaurant. The movie has a back and forth flow. Back to earlier, Chris comes to the attic. He is a famous psychiatrist. Chris comes and he is also panicking. There is a woman's body lying on the bed with blood everywhere. Chris immediately mentions one named Philip, and it is his brother Vincent asks if Philip has anything to do with this. Chris says that he doesn't know. Chris tries to call the police, and Vincent disagrees. Vincent can't imagine the police coming, and their wives will find out about this place. Vincent suggests a wild thing: we find out first what really happened, and maybe we can dispose of the body to a safe place. Suddenly came Marty. Vincent immediately asked if Marty had seen Philip, whether he was here last night. Marty did not answer and still did not believe what he saw. Vincent asked once again, "None of us are involved with this, right? Because if we are, it will be dangerous." Vincent wants us all to find out what happened here and find a way out. We are together in this problem. Then we solve it together. 1 year earlier, Chris and his wife Ellison came to Vincent's project event, and Vincent's wife Barbara welcomed Chris and Ellison. After Vincent and Barbara left, it turned out that Ellison didn't feel at home here, so he asked Chris not to stay long. While Marty and Luke were alone there, Marty was naughty even though he had a wife, but he was very impressed with the women who were here. Sexy came Marty's wife named Mimi. Mimi asked where Luke's wife was. Luke said that his wife went to the bathroom because she felt dizzy again, checked blood sugar. Not long after that, Eli came. Eli said that he was fine, even though he was not feeling well earlier. Chris was visited by a beautiful woman named Ain. They began to get acquainted quite strangely because it seemed that Ain knew Chris. Chris asked if they knew each other. Ain said no, but Chris knew Ain's sister named Sophie. She was Chris's patient. Hearing that Chris immediately apologized, Sophie died by suicide. Ain said that it's okay, some people are born unhappy. Ain asked what business Chris came here. Chris explained he came here for his friend Vincent. Vincent is the architect of this apartment, and asked back, Ain came here because Joel Kotkin, Joel is a board member, and Ain is Joel's personal assistant. We are introduced to Philip. He comes there with 2 beautiful women. Philip claims that these 2 women are his office colleagues. This is very, very absurd because actually Philip is engaged. It is not ethical to bring 2 women here, even though he is just engaged. Vincent showed his friends the loft. Vincent told his friends to imagine that this place was their private place, a place where no one bothered them, a place to escape whenever you wanted. Vincent bought this apartment for him and also for his friends. Vincent told his friends to think no hotel bill problems, no credit card activity that could be questioned. This place would be our secret place to go secretly and save more at this time because the economy is now difficult. Back to the present, Luke suddenly panicked. He wanted to leave. Marty immediately cornered him and scolded Luke. Luke can't panic now. We all have to be together, as agreed. Chris tried to call Philip and didn't pick up. Marty was idly looking at the mattress, and there he found a sentence written from blood, and it was Latin language. Chris was interrogated. Chris was asked if he could speak Latin. Chris said that he could because before entering medical class, he entered Latin class. The police showed a picture of the crime scene. Police asked what this meant initially. Chris did not want to answer because he knew the police already knew the meaning of the word. But because he was forced, Chris answered, Fatum nos jungabit, destiny will bring us together. The police concluded that someone who might be able to speak Latin like Chris grabbed the body's hand and wrote on the wall. Chris was disgusted that the word was actually wrong because of the imperfect tenses and the wrong verb. It should be fatum nos junget. So Chris said the person the police were looking for was making a classic Latin mistake. The police began to ask where Philip's sister was. The police also knew that Philip was actually Chris's half-brother. Because of a different Mr. Chris, admitted that Philip's life was not lucky after their mother died. His father was an alcoholic who liked to beat children. First, Chris did not often spend time with Philip. Suddenly, Philip came. Philip frantically asked what happened. Luke was immediately angry and he immediately hit Philip because he thought Philip was the culprit. Vincent asked if Philip had anything to do with this. All Philip admitted that he had nothing to do with this incident last night. This morning he was at the project site with his in-laws, not here. Philip again asked Vincent where he was this morning. Vincent told Philip to believe. Vincent said that he was at home and his wife was taking the children skiing. We are shown a moment where Philip gets married together with Vicky. Philip's in-laws are a very, very wealthy person named Hiram Fry. He is a big property developer and worth millions of dollars, and Vicky is his only daughter. There is political involvement since Joel was elected to the council. Hiram Fry is busy rebuilding the city center. When it comes time to deal with permits and contracts, the game is rigged. Philip and Vicky arrived. Vicky thanked Philip's friends for coming. After that, Vicky mingled first with her friends. This is where Vincent offered his friends the key for those who were ready to take the key to use the attic at that time. Philip took it and really messed up, even though he had just married Marty. And Luke also took it, who did not take. It was Chris because he was not ready, maybe. Vincent wanted his friends not to tell the others, and most importantly, not to let this key be lost and found by people like their wives. Suddenly, there was a tense atmosphere. Marty said that he would take his brother Philip to the can because Philip didn't like his sister being treated like a prostitute. He was angry at Marty. While walking around, Chris met with Ain. They both talked. Ain told Chris to keep the secret. Actually, board members like Joel love to hide Ain in events like this for his own pleasure, and it also makes Ain horny. He said just like Ain, now talking to Chris makes Ain horny. Chris immediately left. Ain really apologized. Ain said he was just testing Chris. Ain invited Chris to have coffee together in a quiet place and maybe in a more private place. And that night, Chris went to Vincent and asked for the keys. Back to the present, Vincent asked all his friends to show him the key. Chris didn't show him the key because he said he didn't have it with him. Chris also said that the key wasn't important, but Vincent emphasized that the key was very important because someone could get in using this key if the key was lost. But if someone got in, it didn't explain the fact that the alarm went off. So the culprit was one of them. Chris started to realize something. Everyone was hanging out with his wife at Chris's house, and Ellison didn't like Chris's friends, so he was inside Chris, forcing Ellison to blend in. Marty was drunk and almost blurted out about their secret loft. Marty also teased Allison, who had just mingled, so she went in again, but luckily Luke knocked Marty out, so everything seemed fine. Luke went with his wife to the bathroom because Eli asked Luke for help with blood sugar. Arriving at the bathroom, there was Philip doing drugs. Philip left after Philip left. Eli asked if there was anything Luke wanted to say. Did Luke keep a secret? Marty had blurted out. Luke said that he didn't, and he would always be there for Eli and also for the children.
Why should he have to choose? And his wife is amazingly cool. What would you do with two?
Marry one.
They're never here, okay? Will you just join us?
How can men stand fake breasts?
Well, Mom, My mom, she's got false. You know, you women, you're so catty, so competitive. Of course, your mouth lifted so you can smile every once in a while. Sorry, Chris. You go with her and stir.
Honey.
First thing first is I wouldn't have a place that you could get caught. Right? Am I right, Vinny boy? Okay, first of all, sorry, baby, like that.
Listen, sweetie, whatever I may be or may not always be there for you and the children.
Vincent tried to open the handcuffs of the dead woman but could not. Here Vincent thought that someone wanted to trap them. Vincent began to ask Marty who was the most outspoken person. Did Marty tell this secret to someone else? Marty said he had not told anyone. According to Vincent, we are all trapped. It could be a rejected girl, a jealous boyfriend, a husband who cheated on someone. It must have a motive. Began to confess. Chris confessed that he took Ain to the attic and slept together. After that, Chris told Ain that he loved her. This was the first time Chris had cheated on her. Ain refused. Ain said that Chris didn't even know what kind of life she had. He had immediately said he was in love. Ain said the person you love is the only person who can hurt you here. Ain gave a confession. Ain said that she was a prostitute. Her job was to have sex with men for money. Ain left and told Chris to return to his wife and children. Marty was interrogated. Marty said that his friend Chris was a very loyal person, so it was impossible to have an affair. Then why did his wife ask for a divorce? Marty said not a divorce, but a temporary separation, because Marty's wife found out that she was not too happy with Marty, plus Marty was also cheating on her. Marty's affair went to Marty's house, and that's where Marty's wife found out. Marty also admitted that he didn't know anything about the secret attic. Marty began to tell how he met his affair. At that time, Vincent took his friends to San Diego in a bar. Marty was hunting women. Suddenly, a woman named Dina came to join Vincent. Marty and Luke. Vincent told Marty, every fat girl has a beautiful friend. Suddenly, Philip's father-in-law, Hiram Fry, came. He brought a girl, and it was not his wife, so it can be concluded that Vincent and the others knew that Hiram Fry was having an affair. Therefore, Fry came, and indirectly he told Vincent to keep this a secret. In exchange for Vincent will get a new project. Not only Hiram Fry, there is also Joel with Ain. Chris at home tried to call Ain, but she didn't pick up. His wife asked who Chris was calling at night. Chris lied, saying he was just checking his voicemail messages. Came her friend Dina, and her name was Sarah, and she caught Vincent's attention. Vincent was asked if he was new to Sarah at that time. Vincent said, yes, the police wanted to know what happened next. Vincent told the story. Vincent took everyone upstairs, and yes, Marty had an affair with, and Vincent had an affair with Sarah. While Luke, he didn't do anything, just looked here and there and finally left. But after Vincent slept with Sarah in the secret attic, Vincent left Sarah, which made Sarah sad. She wanted more than just sleeping, back to the present. Suddenly, there was a bell ringing. This bell from the realtor. He said this attic would be sold. So the realtor called. He said he had an appointment with someone named Sarah. Oddly enough, what really happened, Vincent admitted Marty and Luke knew who Sarah was. They had both met Sarah at the bar, and now Sarah was in bed. And Philip checked out who the person was who rang the bell. It was a woman, but unfortunately, Marty and Philip didn't know who the woman was. Vincent admitted that he invited Sarah to this loft several times, but Vincent also admitted that he had absolutely nothing to do with this murder. Last night, Vincent invited Sarah here, but Vincent left her because he just wanted to sleep, and that made Sarah sad. Vincent said that last night Sarah was alive. This still does not explain why someone listed this loft for sale. Chris said that he followed Ain and finally got caught. Ain told Chris to stop because there was nothing between the two of them. Chris said that he didn't care if Ain was a prostitute. It didn't change his feelings for her to be able to trust her. Chris gave the attic key to Ain. Chris said that he only brought Ain there. There were no other women. Chris also said if Ain wanted to see him, just call. Ain left, and suddenly Eli came. It turns out that the shop was the shop where Eli worked, and Eli heard the conversation between Chris and Ain, and because of that, he came to know about the secret attic. Luke was asked if he knew Sarah. Luke admitted that he knew and saw with his own eyes Vincent having an affair with Sarah. This is where the police gave a wild statement that Luke could be jealous of seeing Vincent with another woman. The police have a theory that Luke likes Vincent. If Luke is a gay man, of course, Luke does not accept that theory. Luke said that Vincent was his friend for many years. Philip is angry that Vincent lied about him bringing Sarah to the attic tonight, because Vincent didn't tell anyone that tonight he brought a girl because Philip is a temperamental person. He took a knife, and fortunately, everything was under control. Flashback where Marty went to the attic. He went there because he was sad that his wife Mimi left him, so he went to the attic and met Vincent. Vincent calmed him down, and it made Marty feel better. Vincent and Philip argued here. Vincent brought a moment that could be said to be really cruel. Philip handcuffed someone's hands. There was a moment where he took a prostitute to the attic, then handcuffed her and tried to rape her. But fortunately, Vincent and Chris came and overcame the situation. Chris released the woman and gave money, and the woman left. Chris was very, very angry, even though the woman was a prostitute. Chris shouted, "Don't ever do these things to women because it is disrespectful." And it turns out that Philip's character was formed since the death of his mother and living with his father, who was a drunk and child beater. It traumatized him, explaining his character like this. Suddenly, Luke wants to give a confession. It turns out that all this time he has been recording all the events in the attic, so to speak. If someone comes to the attic to have an affair, everything is recorded. Philip immediately hits Luke because this is really inappropriate. But Luke gives another confession. He says he doesn't always record. Only sometimes. Vincent asks if Luke recorded last night. Luke said no, because Vincent didn't tell him that tonight he would bring a woman. Vincent began to think something could be. This incident is the result of revenge for their wives. In the evening of the fundraising event, Vincent told his wife that tomorrow he could not go skiing with the children because of work. But here, Vincent calmed his wife by saying that he would call her every day. Vincent heard that Hiram Fry had received permission regarding the waterfront building project. Therefore, Vincent approached Hiram Fry and tried to blackmail Vincent to bring up the incident in San Diego. If you remember, Vincent knows that Hiram Fry is having an affair with another woman. Therefore, Vincent indirectly, if he doesn't get this project, then he will expose Hiram Fry's secret about his affair. When he was busy playing blackjack, Marty was visited by his wife Mimi, and there was bad news. Mimi said that she had made out with another man, and she said the man was one of Marty's friends. This info certainly made Marty even sadder. Philip saw his sister Zoe at this event, and it turned out that the one who invited Zoe was Philip's wife. Vicky Philip didn't like Zoe being here because she looked like a cheap woman. Vicky said not to worry. Zoe was over 20 years old, and Vicky also thought that Philip liked cheap women. Chris got a message, and it was from Ain. Chris went to the bathroom girl. She called Ain, and who came instead? Joel came here to talk about Vincent because he said Vincent tried to do blackmail. But Chris here preferred to talk about Ain. Chris wanted Joel to stop meeting with Ain because he said Chris was in love with Ain. Suddenly, Ain came out and told Joel to leave. And here there was a surprising fact that someone paid her to sleep with Chris. And Ain finally confessed at first. Indeed, she was paid to sleep with Chris. But then after getting to know Chris more, she wanted to be with him. Chris asked who paid Ain, could not answer. Philip started a ruckus. He went to Zoe and told her to get out of here. Zoe didn't want to. The men there defended Zoe and ended the ruckus. Zoe went to Vincent, calmed him down. Sarah saw him, and she was jealous. So Sarah tried to go to Vincent's wife, Barbara, to expose everything, but it was prevented by Luke. Luke said if Sarah did it, then she will regret it.
Come on, Zoe, let's go.
I'm fine, stop.
What, deaf or just a dick, huh?
Want to see you again. Not in my home and not near my daughter.
Hey, it's okay. Sarah. Sarah.
Don't do it, Sarah. You'll regret it.
No. Why did you do it?
What's going on? I still don't get it.
Vincent knows her?
Back to the present, Vincent realized that all the wives knew about the attic and about the affair, about everything. But strangely, Vincent suddenly got dizzy and then fainted, and it turned out that his friends had trapped Vincent. It turned out that early in the morning, Luke and the others were already here. They saw Sarah dead. Luke told his friends that at night he saw Sarah like this. Luke also found Sarah's letter to Vincent. The letter contained, "See you in the next life." Luke also wanted to show something to his friend, and it was a recording. And it turned out that the recording contained Vincent having an affair with Mimi, his wife Marty, his brother Philip, and finally Aine, the woman Chris is now in love with. This explains the person who paid Aine to sleep with Chris. It was Vincent. The purpose is Vincent paid Aine to sleep with Chris to tempt Chris. So that Chris also shared this attic, they also made a plan to trap Vincent. They wanted to make it seem as if Sarah died because she was killed by Vincent. They also prepared their respective alibis so that later when interrogated by the police, they were not suspected, while Philip was the one who took care of Sarah's body. And yes, Philip made it worse. He sliced Sarah's hands, handcuffed her, and then made Latin writing on the mattress using Sarah's blood. Back to the present, Vincent was given sleeping pills and handcuffed his hands with Sarah's hands, and the incident seemed to be directly related to Vincent. And when he woke up, Vincent was at the police station. Vincent continued to believe the police that he had been framed by his friends, but the police did not believe it because only Vincent and Sarah's fingerprints were found at the crime scene. The police also found a DVD whose video content was all footage of Vincent having sex with Sarah, and worse, on the DVD, there were only Vincent's fingerprints. His friends had cleaned the crime scene to make sure that only Vincent's fingerprints were there. And one thing Vincent said, there was another DVD where he was in contact with Marty's wife. Chris and Luke were at the restaurant this morning. Marty was at the office this morning working, and Philip was with his father-in-law, Hiram Fry. Even Hiram Fry testified that Philip was with his wife all day. Of course, Hiram Fry wanted to help Philip because otherwise Philip would have complained that Hiram Fry was having an affair in San Diego. The police told Vincent to find a lawyer and get ready for court. Chris was finally free to go with his friends. But there was one thing: Chris was surprised that this case was declared a murder case. Chris thought this case was declared a suicide case. The police said no, the autopsy report showed that the sleeping pills Sarah took did not kill her, and her wrists were sliced not by Sarah herself. This fact was supported by Vincent's fingerprints on the knife, and the police did not find Sarah's suicide note. Chris realized that something was wrong. Here, Chris started looking for Sarah's suicide note, because this morning, Luke showed it. Chris went to the attic, he waited for Luke, and Luke came. A realtor came to buy this attic. Chris went to register the sale of this attic. The question is, where is the only evidence that shows that Sarah committed suicide through the letter? Chris found the letter had been thrown into the trash by Luke, and Chris realized that the suicide letter was just Luke's writing. And it turned out that Luke was jealous of Vincent. Luke liked Sarah, but Sarah wanted to be with Vincent. Even Luke had confessed his love to Sarah, but Sarah refused. On that night, Luke saw Vincent leave Sarah in a sad state because Vincent wanted to break off his relationship with Sarah for the sake of his continuity with his wife. Barbara Luke entered to comfort Sarah. Then he secretly gave her a drink containing sleeping pills Sarah slept. Then Luke gave a high dose of insulin so that Sarah died, and the high-dose insulin drug did not leave a trace, aka it could not be known by autopsy. Luke did this for his love, so that Sarah would no longer experience sadness because she was left by Vincent. After that, Luke made a suicide letter just to convince his friends that Sarah committed suicide, when in fact Sarah was killed by Luke. And there was a plot twist that Sarah had not died after Luke gave a high dose of insulin. The police also said that the cause of Sarah's death was not an overdose, but a sliced hand, so it could be concluded that Sarah died because her hand was sliced by Philip. Hearing that, Luke immediately cried. He accidentally let his friend kill Sarah in the most painful, sadistic way. Luke told Chris to go home, but he didn't want to, and something happened.
I did it out of love. I swear.
Sarah wasn't dead when we left her with Philip.
It was your brother who killed Sarah. Step outside.
Luke.
Now.
Luke, you don't need to do this. Jesus Christ, Luke! I called the cops before I came. I told them everything.
Tell Ellie and the kids.
Luke? Luke?
6 months later, Marty was back with Mimi. Chris was divorced from his wife, Ellison. Philip was tried for the fact that he killed Sarah and Vincent. He was free and lived alone in the attic and was divorced from his wife, Barbara. Luke died by suicide falling from the top of the attic. And Chris met up with Ain again.
You look good.
Thank you. And Philip?
He's awaiting trial.
That's how this story ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie summaries.